Chris Cuomo. He is no longer on CNN, and he recently said something. What is he on News Nation now?
Mm-hmm.
About Kamala Harris and that she is not a godsend. I don't know who said she is.
Right.
Never heard that. I mean, I've never heard that. I've never heard she's the Messiah or anything like that.
Literally never, ever.
Never. I mean, at all. I've seen some weird cultish things from the Trump side that makes me think they think that, but I don't think anybody's the Messiah at
Period.
all. But listen to what Chris Cuomo said about Vice President Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
Kamala Harris is not a godsend. All right. You people didn't even like her 6 months ago. Now, all of a sudden, she's black female Jesus, the way Obama was black Jesus. And let me tell you something. He had a lot more going for him than Kamala Harris does. And not just as firsts go, but his type of campaigning, his type of persuasion, his charisma. Okay. He was imbued with things that she is not. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's just a point of comparison. And her process fucked her also. There's a convenience in it, but it fucked her also because there are a lot of misgivings about her. There's an underlying feeling that she didn't get this the right way. She may not have won a primary. She didn't even make it to the first round of primaries when she did run. And that is both fair and unfair at the same time. But look, this idea of don't say anything bad about her because Trump, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And it's not how you get to a better place. It's a relative assessment. She has negatives. So does he. Does he have more? Yeah. He also has a way more intense following. That's why this race is so tight. Now, explain that to me. Unless you want to write off half this country as bigots, how do you explain it being so tight? Maybe you're not as right about everything as you think you are. Maybe you should be a little bit more open to the people that you disagree with. Maybe they're not all racists.
A lot there, but I want to start here. Then I'll give it to you, Reese. I cannot stand this narrative when I hear people say, so what are you going to do? Write off half this country as bigots?
Mm-hmm.
Be
Mm-hmm.
more open? Or the majority of Americans, or whatever the amount of people that voted for Donald Trump? This drives me up the wall when people,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to talk about half this country. I want to give a little bit of historical context of half this country or the majority or a large amount of people. Prior to the Civil War, this is a historical fact, the majority of Americans did not support ending slavery. This is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Ask historian Eric Foner, because they believed slavery was deeply ingrained in our economic infrastructure. And they thought if slavery ended, it would ruin the economy.
Mm.
Northerners and Southerners did not support abolitionists. And even there are many Northerners who supported ending slavery, but did not support abolition, which meant equal rights for Black people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Slavery. The majority did not support ending slavery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote, the majority of Americans did not support giving women the right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And there were even some women who didn't support giving women the right to vote because they believed that they would follow the order of their home. There were women who believed that women were not suited for politics. In 1961, 57% of Americans did not agree with the tactics and the demonstrations of the civil rights movement. 57%. In 1965, the majority of Americans believed the civil rights movement was infiltrated by communists. In 1993, the majority of Americans did not support gay people openly serving in their military. That's crazy.
Right.
And one of the things I loved about Frederick Douglass, he did not have empathy for bigotry.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't believe in anecdotal degrees of goodness. So I know it may sound cute for Chris Cuomo to say that. The larger question is why? Why do these chunk of Americans support somebody who is throwing racism out in your face? Why? Why do the majority of Americans oppose the end of slavery? Why did the majority of Americans oppose the end of slavery? Why did the majority of Americans feel like the civil rights movement was infiltrated by communists? Why do the majority of Americans not support gay people serving in a volunteer military to protect your life, to protect your freedom? So I can't write it. You want to write off half the country, be more open to bigotry, just ahistorical. That is a horrible way to look at it and goes against so many people who fought for justice, who fought for equality, who fought for progress. I just think it's a really ridiculous thing to say. And that's the kind of stuff that you would see from 1960s when you had segregationists on TV talking about the majority of my people don't want this.
Right.
Shameful. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, I mean, a typical privileged, wealthy white man who don't want to call a thing a motherfucking thing, point blank and period. And it's not 50% of the country is racist because Republicans make up 30% of the country, not 50%. So they already are overstated. But yeah, the math, it don't even math on it being 50%. But bitch, if you are okay with racism, then whether you yourself personally are racist is beside the point because you are institutionally voting for racism. So we have to distinguish between racism and bigotry. Racism is a systemic or power structure that allows people who have beliefs to exert power in a way that suppresses other. That's really one of the key tenets of a distinguishing factors of racism versus bigotry. So I don't care if you, oh, like the motherfucker at the MSG, right? I like Puerto Rico. I vacation there, bitch. So what? So you vacation there, don't make you racist? No, that's not how that works. And so the idea that we shouldn't just dismiss people, we shouldn't just dismiss them. We should call them the fuck out as being racist, as being bigoted, as being sexist, as being xenophobic, as being homophobic, or whatever the motherfucking case may be. Indifferent. Don't give a damn about anybody but themselves. How about that? Selfish. We can call out all those things. I'm all for not dismissing people. I'm all for calling the shit out. But the idea that they can't be exactly what the fuck they are because they have the numbers on their side, that don't make no goddamn sense. That doesn't make any sense. And the idea that nobody can say anything about Kamala, yeah, you say something about VP, somebody gonna bite your head off. I used to be one of the people biting people's head off. Now people bite my head off if I say something they don't like. Who gives a fuck? That comes with the territory, okay? But the reality is she is the most scrutinized candidate ever. And she's been the most attacked politician for years in terms of social media, in terms of hit pieces. She is picked apart for everything. So the idea that she's some kind of black Jesus, black Messiah, and can't nobody say nothing about her is fucking stupid because it happens all day, every goddamn day. Period. And President Obama, he got his ass ranked over the coals too for years. They called him everything but a child of God. On his inauguration day, they was burning effigies of him. So let's not rewrite motherfucking history like President Obama was black Jesus and nobody can say nothing about him because they did. They created a whole ass Tea Party movement around defeating him and being racist towards him. So the whole idea that the black candidates get cakewalk and the black candidates get a pass is the most ass backwards ahistorical shit. The most rewriting of not just history but the present period that we in. And for what? Because you don't like the fact that there's a mirror in front of this country once again on who we really are as a country, which is fucked up. You don't like that because when you look in when the mirror is a whole bunch of white folks in MAGA hats.
But Reese, can I even bring up why is he? Because A lot of folks get mad when race is ever mentioned. Why is he bringing race into it?
Because he calling a black Jesus and stuff.
The black female Jesus. She's the vice president to Joe Biden. Last time I checked, Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Like,
Right.
why y'all bringing race into it? Why are you mentioning Obama? How come you didn't mention Biden? You're the one that has an obsession about race. Kamala Harris barely talks about her racial identity. She's not
She
harping on.
don't. She
She's
really
not
don't.
focusing on that. Come on now, she's not selling that. They're the ones who keep talking about it. They're the ones who are making it a story. So why are you making it about black female Jesus? Who said that? Who said?
Well,
And
and Jesus
neither
was
was
black. So
Obama.
black and Jesus is redundant anyway.
Okay, I just don't
If you
even.
really want to
It's
make
like
that head
why,
post, Jesus was black. So now, well, why are you saying black
right?
Jesus? It's like black and
He
black.
just had
Hello.
melanin. From what we know of, he had melanin. But I just don't
Black.
understand why you making it about race when she does not. Can we concede Kamala Harris does not make her campaign about race or gender at all?
Yeah, she don't. It's the most race neutral, post racial campaign I done seen in since fucking John Kerry. Okay, so yeah, this is not. She ain't that candidate. Okay, so no, and if she's not saying, "Oh, I'm black, you can't say nothing to me. I'm a woman, I can't." She's. I've
Yeah.
never seen a presidential candidate minimize their identity so much. Like it's actually quite shocking, to see that. And not just presidential, most candidates now don't go to this degree of minimizing, at least blackness and being a woman. She'll talk about being a child of immigrants, but she not that sister soldier Angela Davis, like I'm black woman here we were black girl magic. She's not that she's not that candidate. So what the fuck is the problem? What y'all mad about? What y'all got to complain about now? That don't make no sense.